Europe has spent years listening to predictions of decline. Analysts have warned that the continent was losing ground to the United States, falling behind China and struggling to keep its industrial base alive. But the numbers from 2025 tell a very different story. Europe is not collapsing. It is outperforming much of the global economy, and doing so in the middle of a storm that many expected would break it. Let's start with the basics. The Eurozone is growing faster than anyone forecast a year ago. Inflation has come down to around 2%. Real wages are rising again. And unemployment is staying below 6%, which is one of the strongest labour market outcomes Europe has ever recorded. When you put these elements together, you get something rare in Europe's recent economic history. Stability. And it is happening for reasons that most people overlook. Take the tariff war with the United States. When Washington raised duties on foreign imports, the fear was that Europe's export-heavy economy would get hit hardest. Instead, European exporters acted quickly and absorbed the shock. They front-loaded shipments before the tariffs kicked in. They shifted supply chains where they could. And when Brussels reached a final agreement with Washington, the new tariff rate landed at 15%. That sounds high, but it is dramatically lower than the tariffs imposed on India, Canada, and several Asian economies. In other words, Europe got the least damaging version of a bad deal. The result was surprising. Exports bounced back. Shipments from the Eurozone rose almost 5% in late summer. Southern Europe, which was once seen as the soft underbelly of the continent, played a major role in the recovery. Spain and Greece posted stronger manufacturing activity than anyone predicted. Tourism, services, and targeted investment from EU recovery funds all helped. It is not a miracle. It is simply the result of consistent policy and smarter use of available resources. Another overlooked factor is regulation. Europe is often criticised for being over-regulated, and sometimes for good reason. But in the past year, Brussels has quietly recalibrated parts of the Green Deal. Several new reporting requirements have been delayed, carbon targets have been adjusted, and the deforestation law has been pushed back. Environmental groups hate the changes. Many businesses see them as necessary breathing room. The shift has boosted confidence across the industrial sector at a moment when Europe needed it most. But the most interesting part of Europe's story is tech. For years, people have claimed that Europe cannot compete in technology. The United States has Silicon Valley. China has scale and state-backed innovation. Europe, we were told, has neither. That was never the full picture. And now the data proves it. Since the pandemic, Europe has added more than 1.5 million tech jobs. That is more than any other sector. These new jobs have helped offset losses in traditional industries, especially in Germany. European firms have also adopted advanced digital tools at a much faster pace than expected. Artificial intelligence is being integrated into manufacturing on a scale that the United States has not matched. And when you compare the talent pools, Europe actually has about 30% more AI specialists per capita than the US. This matters because Europe's strength is not in producing flashy consumer apps. It is in applying technology to complex, high-value industries like engineering, medical devices, green energy, and advanced manufacturing. These are sectors where incremental improvement translates directly into productivity gains. Europe is playing to its strengths, even if it does not look impressive at first glance. When you put all of this together, the picture becomes clearer. Europe is not leading the world economy, but it is outperforming expectations. It has weathered tariffs, stabilized inflation, managed labor market pressure, and built a tech workforce large enough to shift its long-term trajectory. It is a better story than the doom narrative suggests. And maybe that is the real point. Europe is no longer as fragile as many like to claim. It is adapting, it is absorbing shocks, and it is finding new sources of strength in places that were dismissed only a few years ago. The continent still has challenges ahead, but the idea that Europe is doomed to permanent decline no longer fits the facts. If you found this breakdown useful, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and visit westernrelations.com for deeper analysis on Europe and the wider Western world. Thank you for watching.